I was standing alone in my Seattle kitchen when my son's name lit up my phone. It was still early morning. The coffee beside me had gone cold, untouched. Something in my chest felt tight, like I already knew this call wouldn't bring good news. Before we begin, just a small request. Hit the like button to support our stories. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from and how you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new story. Your one like, one comment, and one subscribe truly encourages us and keeps us going. "Hello, Mom," Tyler said. His voice sounded distant, polished. Behind him, I could hear soft music and the clink of expensive glasses. "I wanted to tell you before you saw it online," he continued. "We got married yesterday." Yesterday? The word hit me like a slap. I stared at the calendar on my fridge. For months, he'd told me the date was still undecided. I had already bought a simple navy dress. Nothing flashy, just something nice enough to not embarrass him. "You got married," I whispered. "It was very small," he said quickly. "Private. Chloe's parents wanted a certain atmosphere, high-end, clean. You know how these things are." I didn't respond right away. I thought about the years I worked double shifts at the public library. The winters I wore the same old coat so Tyler could have new shoes. The night his father died and I promised my son I'd always be there for him. Apparently, that wasn't enough. Then Tyler cleared his throat. "There's actually another reason I'm calling." "Here it comes," I thought. "There was a problem with the wedding payments," he said. "Just a timing issue. Chloe's parents had some accounts frozen temporarily. Nothing serious." My fingers tightened around my mug. "The total balance is $65,000, he continued. "I told them not to worry because you'd help. It's just a loan. I emailed you the invoice. You can wire it from your retirement account, right?" My retirement account. The money I had saved so I wouldn't become a burden one day. "Mom," he pressed. "We're about to leave for our honeymoon." I looked around my quiet kitchen, my paid-off house, my tired hands, my carefully planned future, and suddenly, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't about money. This was about how little I mattered to him now. But what I did next would shatter the perfect image. My son and his new family were desperately trying to protect. After Tyler ended the call, I stood in my kitchen for a long time without moving. The house felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath. I opened my laptop and stared at the email he had sent. A luxury wedding planner's logo sat at the top, clean and elegant. At the bottom, the total glared back at me. $65,000. My hands began to shake as I logged into my retirement account. The balance showed a little over $68,000. That was it. The money I had saved for emergencies. 4 medical bills. For the day my body could no longer keep up with my independence. If I paid this bill, I would be left with almost nothing. I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. Memories came flooding in without permission. Tyler at 11, sitting at the kitchen table, frustrated over homework. Tyler at 16, begging for a better laptop for school. Tyler at 22, promising he'd take care of me one day. I had always found a way. That was the problem. My phone buzzed. A text from Tyler. "Mom, did you send the transfer? The planner is stressing us out." I didn't reply. Instead, I remembered the engagement party at Chloe's parents' estate. The polished smiles, the quiet looks of judgment. I remembered being guided to a small table near the kitchen. Where it's calmer, I remembered pretending not to notice that my son never once came over to sit with me. Back then, I told myself I was being supportive. Now I saw the truth: I was being erased. Another call came in, this time from an unfamiliar number. "Mrs. Harris," a man said politely, "this is Julian from Lux Events. We're still waiting on the final wedding payment." I swallowed. "I wasn't invited to that wedding," I said carefully. There was a pause. "Your son assured us you were handling it." I'm not, I replied. My voice surprised MIT was steady. Please contact the family who hosted the event. I hung up before he could argue. My heart pounded, but beneath the fear was something new. Clarity. I walked to the sink and poured the cold coffee down the drain. I looked around my small but honest home. Every bill here had been paid with real work. Every wall held years of sacrifice. I went to my closet and pulled out the navy dress I had bought for the wedding. I ran my fingers over the fabric, then folded it neatly and placed it in a donation box. I finally understood something painful but freeing. They didn't want me there. They just wanted what I could give. But the next morning, the people who truly believed they owned my sacrifice showed up at my door, and that's when everything changed. The black SUV parked in front of my house the next morning didn't belong on my quiet street. I watched from the window as Chloe's parents stepped out, dressed perfectly, despite the drizzle. They moved with confidence, like people who expected doors to open for them. Chloe's mother smiled the moment I opened the door. "Martha, dear," she said softly, "we're worried about you. Tyler says you're overwhelmed." Overwhelmed. That was her word for it. They sat at my dining table without waiting to be invited. Her husband spoke about temporary complications and financial timing issues. She nodded along, her eyes scanning my home not with interest, but with calculation. "You've done so much for Tyler," she said. "Now it's time to make sure his future stays stable." I listened quietly. Years of working in a library had trained me well. When people talked too much, they were usually hiding something. That afternoon, after they left, I couldn't shake the unease. I opened my laptop and began searching. Public records, property filings, court notices. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but I knew the truth would leave fingerprints. And it did. The estate where the wedding was held wasn't owned by them. The frozen accounts weren't a delay, they were court orders. There were unpaid taxes, lawsuits from vendors, a long trail of debt carefully hidden behind polished smiles and expensive clothes. My hands trembled not from fear, but from anger. That evening, I called Silas, an old friend who used to read financial journals at the library. He listened quietly as I explained. "They're not wealthy," he said after a pause. "They're surviving on appearances. And they saw you as their safety net." The realization hit hard. The wedding hadn't just been about love or celebration. It had been a performance. And I was supposed to pay for the final act. My phone rang later that night. "Tyler? They're furious," he said. "You embarrassed them." I took a breath. "I didn't embarrass them," I replied. "I asked questions." "You don't understand how these people live," he snapped. "This could ruin everything." "What exactly is everything?" I asked quietly. He didn't answer. The silence told me more than his words ever had. I sat alone that night, surrounded by files and notes, realizing how close I had come to losing everything, not because I wasn't worthy, but because I had been too willing to sacrifice myself for a place I was never meant to occupy. For the first time, I stopped feeling ashamed. I felt prepared. But the truth doesn't stay hidden for long, and soon I would be forced to confront my son and his new family face to face. The meeting took place in a quiet cafe across town. Clean lines, soft music, the kind of place where people spoke in lowered voices but believed. Every word carried weight. Tyler was already there when I arrived. Sitting stiffly at a corner table with Chloe beside him, her parents joined moments later, confident as ever at least on the surface. Tyler stood when he saw me. "Mom," he said quickly, relief flashing across his face. "We just need to clear this up." I sat down slowly and placed a thin folder on the table. "We are clearing it up," I said calmly. Chloe's mother smiled politely. "Martha, we all agree this situation has been stressful, but family helps family. Once this bill is paid, everything can move forward." I opened the folder and slid the first document across the table. That estate you used for the wedding, I said, isn't yours. Her smile froze. I slid another paper forward. Your accounts weren't delayed. They were frozen. Silence. Then Tyler looked at his father-in-law. Is that true? No one answered. I continued, my voice steady. Unpaid taxes. Vendor lawsuits. Properties in foreclosure. This wasn't a small problem, it was a collapse. And you wanted me to sacrifice my future to hide it. Chloe stood up, furious. You had no right to dig into our private lives. I met her gaze. You lost the right to privacy when you tried to take my retirement. Tyler looked broken. I didn't know, he whispered. I just wanted to belong. I wanted to be enough. My heart cracked, but I didn't look away. You were always enough, I said. You just stopped believing it. And in doing so, you treated me like a resource instead of your mother. I stood and pushed the wedding invoice back toward him. I'm not paying it. Not now, not ever. But this will destroy us, Chloe's mother snapped. No, I replied. The lies already did that. I turned to Tyler. I love you. But love doesn't mean letting someone drain me to feel important. If you want a relationship with me, it will be built on honesty, not money. I walked out before anyone could respond. The air outside felt lighter. Honest, I took the long way home, watching the city move around me, knowing something had shifted for good. That night, I unpacked the navy dress one last time. I didn't throw it away. I folded it carefully, not as a reminder of rejection, but as proof of survival. I wasn't unworthy. I had simply chosen myself. And sometimes, the bravest thing a parent can do is stop paying the price for someone else's illusion. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story so more people remember. No matter how old you are, it's never too late to stand up for yourself.